Thank you for joining us on the program. A Senegalese court will this Friday deliver a verdict in a high-profile corruption trial of popular mayor Khalifa Sall. The 62-year-old Dakar mayor and 7 co-defendants are accused of misappropriating $2.85 million of city funds between 2011 and 2015, a charge which Sall denies and which supporters say is politically motivated. Fraud, criminal conspiracy and money laundering are also amongst their charges. Prosecutors are seeking a 7-year prison term for Sall and a fine worth nearly $10 million. The verdict in the high-profile corruption trial is seen as capable of making or breaking the presidential ambitions of the popular mayor.
Today, it will be a question of validating the procedure in this case. The lawyers of Khalifa Sall believe that it must be annulled because, in their view, the rights of the defense have been repeatedly violated. The court must also show whether or not there have been any misuse of public funds at the mayor's office between 2011 and 2015, and whether the funds disbursed by the state directly benefited the mayor. With us this morning to talk about this is Pape Ndiaye, a journalist in the country. Well, this subject has fascinated the Senegalese people for months. At this time of the final verdict, what can we say?
Oui, présentement, toutes les orientations, toutes les attentions sont orientées.
All attention is focused on the Dakar court. It is indeed this Friday that the criminal court must render its decision in the case of Khalifa Sall, which is a case following a case of embezzlement of public funds that involves the mayor of the capital. And there is something that could jeopardize the work of the court, as the Union of Workers of the Justice System has decreed a 2-day strike which started on Thursday and continues this Friday. So a clerk will not be able to attend the final ruling of the court, and this could have many consequences if the court persists in rendering its verdict without the presence of a clerk at the hearing. All the experts are unanimous on the question. In the event of a decision rendered without the presence of the clerk, it can never be executed and it will not have any legal value. But we do not know yet if this Friday the court will refer the case to another date, or then it will requisition a policeman, as we often see it, to act as the clerk. But in any case, we risk going towards a postponement of the decision which must be taken in the case of Khalifa Sall. Mr. Ndiaye, from Khalifa Sall supporters, they have always denounced the political stubbornness. Is this accusation justified, in your opinion?
Oui, on a entendu beaucoup de réactions de la part des partisans de Khalifa Sall.
We have had a lot of reaction from the supporters of Khalifa Sall who talk about a political trial, a selective prosecution, but there are observations that can be made in this sense. First, the context that was chosen to launch the audit of the City Hall of Dakar. Several communities were criticized, but only the case of the Dakar mayor's office has been investigated by the judiciary. That is a first point. Another aspect, the mayor of Dakar is indicated for embezzlement of public funds amounting to $1.8 billion. However, some of the evidence for some of the expenses incurred can be found at the level of the Court of Accounts. The public prosecutor has this information, but these pieces have been purely and simply removed from the case, as seen in the recent case of Karim Wad. So all these observations push Khalifa Sall supporters to talk about a political trial, even if the opposing party says the opposite. For the public prosecutor, the state attorneys, the state attorneys as well, it is not a political trial. It is a case of embezzlement, and we ask for documents justifying the expenses to release the mayor of the capital. And about his liberation, what are the chances of Khalifa Sall being declared innocent? So you certainly observed that during the first week we were not at the judgment stage. We were at the preliminary stage. The lawyers of Khalifa Sall had raised what is known in law as expectations of invalidity. They noticed violations of rights in the case. They raised an exception by saying that number 5 of the law was violated. This regulation enshrines the presence of a lawyer during police custody. It was found that during this stage, none of the the prosecuted persons were assisted by their lawyer, and the judge has not yet given his answer to this. The judge joined the case on the merits. It means that he will render his decision at the same time as the final verdict. So if we stick to this text, Khalifa Sall is very lucky to be cleared to the extent that here in Senegal, between 2015 and 2018, 20 proceedings have been annulled on the basis of Regulation number 5 of the law. One cannot render two legal precedents, and on this level, Khalifa Sall and his co-accused still have chances of being declared innocent, and the procedure can be annulled on this basis, but we are waiting to see.